Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 3 of Around the Halo. I am your host, Bearded McMagic, as per usual. It is fantastic to see everyone here with Around the Halo, hosted by Little Flower Media, with the help of University of St. Thomas and Max Studios. So we've got a new look going on tonight, because this is the first time that we've had the opportunity to do the show from our actual setups as it was designed to be. It's not that it's not great to do it live, and we all love being in the same room, especially when we can be in Houston, but Thomas Beshke has put forth quite a bit of effort in helping us with the rebrand of season 2, and so we've got a little bit of a different look going on as we move forward into the shows. Just as a quick reminder before we get started, we do not have notifications on or alerts for the show tonight, just because we're trying to get this little flow going with everybody here, and we will be looking at chat and occasionally bringing stuff up, but if we are not immediately responding to you like we do during a normal stream, just so you are aware of it, that is all. It's just because we've got Around the Halo going on tonight. So we are going to meet our contestants as we go through this next segment here. Of course, with us we have Jonathan Bearded Blevins, the CEO of Little Flower Media. Jonathan, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. I know what you're thinking, McClure. Holy cow, you lost 30 pounds in one day?
You took all of it out of your beard!
Yeah, I just got a little beard trim, so I'm Jonathan, a little less bearded Blevins.
A little slightly less bearded Blevins. Well, it's great to have you with us, as always, my friend. And tonight we have a special guest with us as well, Katie Prejean McGrady. How are you tonight?
I'm good, not bearded, thank
you.
God.
Are not bearded, no. But what you do is you have you host a show on XM Radio, and you have had a podcast with Ave Maria Press since 2019. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
What is the name of the podcast?
So the show on Sirius XM is the Katie McGrady Show, because Crimes, and my podcast is Ave Explores. Cool. Award-winning in award-winning Catholic media circles. I have a certificate on
I should have put that in your handle. I should have put award-winning at Katie P. McGrady. That would have been.
I did not get a pay raise.
Better, I think. That's cool. That's awesome. And as always tonight, we of course have Joel Stepanek at Chasing Humility. How are you doing? Joel just has a newborn and doesn't want to talk about the amount of sleep he's getting. So don't ask, chat. It's not appropriate.
It's fine. I'm fine.
Everything's fine.
I have not won any awards.
Not
my mom
yet.
Says I'm really good.
That's awesome. We're all number 1 or in our mom's hearts, or in my case, number 3.
Yep. All my school certificates.
Amazing. And with us tonight, we have Darnell Miller of UST Max Studios, executive producer at the Darnell Lorenzo. That's an Instagram handle, correct?
That is an Instagram handle, yes.
Because you are not a fan of Twitter.
No, I am not.
Because you don't want to have all the twits.
Nope. No twits at all. None for me.
Totally understandable. Well, here we are all together to get our show started. Does anyone have anything they would like to ask before we begin? Yes, Jonathan.
My kids are in love with the VeggieTales soundtrack. I don't think we've ever seen an actual episode, but they love the songs. And I just want to say, in the I Love My Lips song, one of the characters kissed their aunt who had a beard, and it felt weird. So, Katie, there's always hope.
I guess, maybe. In the next stage of my life.
That won't get clipped and taken out of context at all.
Oh, that wasn't a question. I'm sorry.
That's the clip. That's the clip he's going to pull
Joel,
out and put
minus 1 point for me.
What are we doing here?
I'll never come back.
Deduct points this season.
Amazing. I think, I've been working hard on that technology to create a negative point system, and I think that I should. I think that that's absolutely what I should do.
I think there's a demonstrated need.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we have this nice little scoreboard in front of us as we get ready to play Around the Halo. As per usual, chat, I am going to be doling out points. It is based entirely on these 4 players, catering distinctly to my own personal likes and dislikes. Anyone who has anything trashy to say about Apple, that's an immediate 5-point, landslide, guaranteed. And then we just kind of take it from there. I don't remember who won last week. So
Bridget.
Did Bridget win last week?
Yeah.
Max Studios is 2 for 2.
They are. They're undefeated this season.
Max Studios is on fire. The worst part about last week is I actually played in the game and gave myself points. Still lost. So I'm going to have to, I really needed to up my general hot takes, I think. Okay, so we're going to jump right in here. Topic number 1, in your face nutrition labels. So here is the deal. The Biden administration is proposing that nutrition labels go on the front instead of the back of packaging to help people make healthier choices. This is part of a 40-page proposal that encompasses numerous measures to help Americans be healthier. We're going to start off with our traditional Around the Halo in a clockwise manner as it appears on my screen, starting with Jonathan Blevins. Does it matter, though?
No. No, doesn't our president have more important things to... Aren't there other things? Didn't Michelle Obama already try this? Like, dude, here's the thing. Okay, right now, people, there's almost World War III happening. Gas prices are through the roof. There's a hurricane. Like, there's got to be something happening right now more important than nutrition labels being on the front. This feels like the food pyramid part 2. Here's the thing. Okay, most people who care about their health aren't looking at labels. They're scanning them into their MyFitnessPal app. The people who are jacked and at CrossFit, they already have the things that they eat every day memorized and their caloric intake, and they're weighing their food. So the who's this trying to help? The people who are drinking 4 Mountain Dews a day, nobody thinks that's healthy. Putting the nutrition label on the front, they're not going to be like, oh, this much sugar?
What if they're Baja Blast? Is that better?
My goodness. Yeah, Baja Blast, no, it's a little healthier, I think, because it's blue.
Right.
So no, I do not understand this. It doesn't make any sense. And I will say this. I'm not even going to say that. I'm just going to say I don't like it.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm not even going to give the caveat for why I might understand why, because I'm going to get roasted. So I'm just not going to say it.
That's fair and legitimate. So Katie, do you look at the nutrition labels on food before making decisions, or are you pretty comfortable with where you're at, just putting stuff in the cart?
I mean, I just add stuff to cart, and I'm a busy mom, so I don't even go to the store. I just do a pickup order every Monday and Friday that keeps it stocked. So no, I don't have time to look at the nutrition labels. I will say this. I do research sometimes ingredients in certain foods because I want to know about the dyes. Like, the one weird crunchy thing I have is that red dye makes my kids insane. So I will not buy food that has any sort of red dye 40 or any of that kind of thing. So I think that information can be valuable, but I'm not studying that label. Also, it should be noted, the healthy stuff at the grocery store doesn't have a label. There's not a label on the strawberries, and there's not a label on the apples. So if you're shopping, the rule of thumb is you shop the outer edges of the store because that's where you're getting fresh produce. If you're shopping the inside aisles, those people aren't going to be, and I'm that person too sometimes, but those people are not going to be staring at those nutrition labels. We're going to pay attention to the fresh produce kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. Excellent points. I never thought of the healthy stuff not having a label on it. Joel, fitness legend back in the day, Jack LaLanne, used to say, if it tastes good, spit it out because it's not good for you. Agree?
Depends. I love Jack LaLanne, but I hate that quote because there are things that are good for us, but we have trained our bodies to not want it. And I think Katie brought up a really good point about knowing what's in the food, but that takes an extra step. Putting the labels on the front is only going to discourage people if they're trying to be conscious of calories, because that's what we're all familiar with. That's why fast food restaurants did it. I don't know that it's mattered because marketing just keeps up with it. So yeah, okay, that thing on the menu's got 1,000 calories, but it looks delicious. We have trained our bodies to want that type of not good food, and it takes a while to get unhooked from it. I think educating people about what they're eating is key. I'm cynical because I don't think it's going to make a difference. Marketing is just going to keep up, and the stuff that goes into our food is already garbage. But unless you know why it's garbage, it doesn't matter to you that it's garbage. You're just going to buy it anyway because right now we're trying to buy inexpensive food because things are pricey. So putting the labels on the front, I don't know if this is a shame game or what. It doesn't matter, and it's a waste of time. And
it's like Joel can see directly into my soul when he answers these questions. It's unbelievable.
Favoritism.
Yep, that's the way that it goes.
He's sleep deprived.
Darnell, other efforts like this have not seemed to make a difference. How would this one possibly be different?
Yeah, I think that it's not going to be different, right? I think if you go to Europe and you see the cigarette cartons have like the expired lungs on them that are black and deformed because of lung cancer as a deterrent. I mean, Europeans still smoke like it's in style, right? You go to Mexico and then they have like on the Cheetos and everything, excess calories, excess sugars, like it's in your face, and there's a huge obesity issue in Mexico. And I think part of the bigger issue is like access to food that is healthy, that is also affordable. So they're not solving an issue. They're just putting a Band-Aid on it and hoping that people will self-solve it, which is kind of part of the course for America.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. This is a fascinating topic, especially from a perspective, Jonathan, of health, right? In terms of the nutritional content. Because I'm pretty sure that every trainer I've ever talked to told us that the food pyramid was wrong. So if we're going to base all this stuff on like the healthy stuff, we probably should perfect what it is that we're designing as the healthy diet to begin with.
I was just going to say, what's healthy, bro? Because lately I'm hearing that like the animal diet is healthy and I can just cook burgers and dump raw honey on it. And I'm all for that if that's the case. But it like it sounds delicious. There's so much misinformation out there about what is healthy, what isn't healthy. For a long time, carbs were the enemy. And people are like, oh, rice is fine, but pasta's not. It just makes no sense. So let's just get one thing. What's healthy, what's not? In-N-Out burger, baby. That's what I want.
Completely fair. Let's just put that on the list and be done.
Not a sponsor.
Okay, topic number 2. Athletic temper tantrums. So, professional athletes put their bodies on the line and train hard to compete. Competitors at the highest level generally don't like to lose, but sometimes they don't take it well. Over the past couple of weeks, table smashing has been raised as an issue by the NFL, with a league-wide memo going out to ask players to please stop smashing tables, because apparently
tablets.
Tablets. I was going to make a crack about it being the WWF, but tablets.
Bill fans.
That's right. And so that's really more of a preservation of the sponsor, but still it is prompted by Tom Brady smashing a tablet on the sideline. So if they're doing this on a regular basis, is the behavior justifiable because they're pro athletes, or are these just adult temper tantrums? What do you think, Katie?
I mean, my 2-year-old throws her tablet too, so I guess they could come sit in the timeout chair with me and we can talk about their feelings, and I'll gentle parent them through their experiences. No, I think they are adult temper tantrums. I'll also say this. I had no idea what you were talking about when I was prepping for this particular topic. I really, truly did think it was tables. And so I Googled Tom Brady table and nothing came up. So I'm a little unprepared, because if I had known it was tablets, I think I would have come up with a few more hot takes about how screen time is something we need to limit for all children, especially those who get paid millions of dollars and fake retire and then separate from their wives. So at the end of the day, ultimately, when we watch professional sports of any kind, I'm always conscious of 2 things when we've got the TV on Sunday: the commercials that come on, and I will flip away from a commercial that is excessive in any particular way because I don't want my kid to ask certain questions, and the behavior that we see on the sideline. I forget what guy it was a couple of years ago. Like, you could see him say the F word, and it was just like, my 3-year-old can't read lips, but I can. And like, I don't know. Sometimes I have to be conscious of that stuff with my kids. And so, yeah, I do think it's kind of silly that you're getting paid millions of dollars to play a game. Just like, be appreciative of what you get to do.
I just want to say that I would pay money to see you gently parent a professional athlete.
Professional athlete.
Yeah, I think that would be gold content, and we absolutely should try to make that happen.
The whole mom thing in NFL players was a reality. Those Campbell soup commercials, like the players would come in and mom would make them soup. I think there's a market for it.
That's fair.
Oh my gosh, Reggie, eat a chunk of soup. That was so good.
Such a good commercial. I remember it.
All right, Joel, so this type of behavior is standard in reality television. Does this make the NFL better? Is it just a ploy for sensationalism and ratings, or is it just catching terrible moments of pro athletes?
I don't think it's intentional, but I think the NFL loves it, and I am for it. And I think your WWE reference is perfect. It's entertainment. And so, like, Tom Brady smashing 3 tablets in a game, that's hilarious. And that adds to the product. The Bills offensive coordinator watching Josh Allen choke on with seconds left in the game to win and throwing all of his stuff around his desk and smashing his tablet after the league said, don't smash tablets. He smashes his tablet. That's awesome. This is what people want. And again, maybe that is a good behavior. No, these are athletes. They're passionate. They're excited. I coach a Pee Wee football team. Would I allow that from any of my players? Absolutely not. They'd sit all game. It's preposterous. But the NFL is entertainment. And so these things elevate the product. They make us want to watch. We talk about them all week. They're viral clips online. We speculate about them. I think the NFL loves it. I think they sent out the memo to everybody, like intentionally, not privately to Tom Brady, like, stop smashing tablets, please. They did it to everybody, partially because someone's like, that's a good story. Yeah. And that's what the NFL is about. Yeah. It's about games, but it's about stories. And when people are smashing things and looking ridiculous, it elevates the product. I'm for it. I think it's hilarious. Smash those tablets and smash some tables if you want to. Just don't hurt anybody. But I mean, come on.
That's fair.
It's great.
Check this guy out. He's off the rails. All right, Darnell, I'm going to be honest with you. I have broken a couple of tennis rackets in my day as a former player, but I will also be honest with you that sometimes I did it because I wanted my partner to feel like I was absolutely trying my hardest and not because I actually felt the need to do so. Do you think there's some, showmanship going on when it comes to this kind of stuff and trying to fire up teammates?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel a bit of regret because as a swimmer, there's nothing for me to break when I don't win. Like, I guess I could rip my Speedo off, but that would get me suspended. So that's like a no-go. But I tend to agree with Joel, right? I think there is I don't know. I just think there's like a different understanding or philosophy of the game at that level. Like if you want to watch somebody play football or any sport for that matter, for the love of the game, I used to say, watch college sports, right? Once you get into professional, it's entertainment. And then it's like no holds bar, right? Like I'm still disappointed that football does not look like that, old PlayStation video game. What was it where you can you tackle people after plays and, pile drive them and all that?
NFL Blitz. NFL Blitz is what you're looking for.
Yeah, like that seems like the thing to do, right? And just to pander a little bit, I hope that all those tablets they were smashing happen to be Apple products.
Yeah, I do not think that they were.
Wow.
But if they were, that's where they belong.
Right?
Smashed
but also,
on the
that's
ground.
A very expensive habit to have. So, man, mad props to them for being able to pay for that. But I'm not going to smash any of that stuff. I don't got the funds for that.
Yeah, good point. So, Jonathan, where is the line between passion and just being childish? And can you forgive athletes for acting that way in a moment of weakness?
I have so many takes on this, and I don't even know where to start. The NFL has always been known as the no fun league. Okay. But I don't think that smashing tablets is fun. I think it's kind of lame. I feel like it's a little tone deaf. Like I remember being a little kid and seeing like someone destroy something in a TV show, maybe even as like a 15-year-old in a YouTube video, like seeing someone destroy like an Xbox and being like, I don't even have an Xbox. I want an Xbox. Like I want that. That's not fair to smash 3 tablets when there's kids watching the game. Like the NFL is the everyman sport, right? The every woman sport. Like everyone watches it. All ages are watching this thing, and some of the people can't afford a tablet, and we're just going to watch professional athletes because their marriage isn't working smash a tablet. I don't like it. And they're not just doing it for entertainment. If they were doing it for entertainment, that's one thing. But like, come on, Tom Brady's doing that because he's miserable, and he's miserable because he cares more about his career than his marriage, and that's a problem. And that's what's going to end up happening. And so I don't love that, but I agree with Joel that the NFL should be entertaining, and we should allow Terrell Owens back in the day to have a Sharpie in his sock and sign a ball and drop it in the middle of the Dallas Cowboys star like that. I want to see that. Jamal Williams on the Lions this week scored a touchdown and did a dance where he kind of like hula hooped, but he's got really good hips, and he got fined for like doing a 4th hip thrust. And said the 3 were fine, but the last hip thrust got him a fine and a flag. And it's like, dude, like let him. We should be dancing and Fortnite dancing and doing the worm across the whole field. Like I want to see crazy fun in the NFL. I just don't need to see.
Are
your
you
anger.
Referring to Hingle McCringleberry? Is that a callback?
I've never heard of that. I'm not a boomer.
All right, sorry. I'm not a boomer.
Sorry, that was too far.
I've never seen a Key and Peele skit. Is that what you just said?
Oh, okay. I totally love that skit.
Yeah, well,
that took a second.
Gosh, who feels dumb now?
It's only for us boomers. Okay, good topic, everybody. Well done. Let's move on to the teacher shortage. This is a fun one, especially because my wife gets a job offer every other week from a local parish that's like, oh, we had another person quit. And she's like, I'm sorry, I'm still homeschooling. I can't do it. But more than half of school principals say they were understaffed at the start of the season. 60% were unable to fill non-teaching positions, and 48% were unable to fill teaching positions. That many teachers leaving during the pandemic is the primary problem, and fewer are entering the teaching workforce as a profession, which is causing schools to offer signing bonuses and perks for a 4-day work week to teachers in order to continue operations. Joel, we're starting with this topic with you. Is now the time to get in or out of the teaching world?
I would say it's tough because right now, this is probably the time. John's gotten out of this stream.
John's like, I don't want to be mistaken for a teacher. Like, I'm leaving.
I'm out. I think it's sad. I think I understand why people are getting out of the field right now. Like, honestly, we pay in jobs. This is my theory. Salary correlates to the risk you take in that job. So a surgeon, a neurosurgeon, makes a lot of money because they could kill people with what they do. So you're not just paying for expertise, but you're paying for the risk that person takes on as a natural part of their profession. If you are serving food at a Chick-fil-A, that's a great job. It's a necessary job. The risk is a whole lot lower. I think teachers take on a lot of risk, and I don't think they're compensated for that risk, especially now. It is very challenging to be a teacher because everybody thinks they can be a teacher. You can't. And so I think right now, if I were in the teaching profession, yes, I would strongly be considering leaving because a lot of teachers have a great skill set far beyond what they can do in the classroom, and they can find other jobs that pay better, that have better perks. And the perk of like, hey, you get summer off. A lot of teachers moonlight over the summer to make extra money for the year. That's not a perk. Cool. I get to go work my second job.
Because they have to.
Yeah. Awesome. And then I get to roll back into a school year where I'm going to get harassed by parents because I gave their kid a bad grade on an assignment that they didn't do. And then I'm going to have to change it because I'm getting pressure from the administrators. Pay them. Pay teachers $80,000 a year. And I promise you they will stick around. Now, don't ask me how to fund that, but I'll give you that.
Yeah. It's a whole separate conversation.
Forgive some more loans.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is the problem bigger than just the pandemic and sort of causing problems for that like transition over the past couple of years, Darnell? Like, what do you think? There's other stuff going on?
Oh, absolutely. The pandemic is the scapegoat, right? Both my parents are teachers. My dad teaches at a college. My mom teaches. Well, she retired this past year, but she taught elementary school for like 30-ish years. And it's been apparent for a long time that teachers are overworked and underpaid. They're under-resourced. The school system at large is failing our students, right? We say our children are the future of this country, and yet we're not investing in them. So like, do we actually care about them? Like, are we willing to put the work in, give the teachers the money they need, invest in the future the way we say we are? Like, we're not doing it. We say we want to, but we don't do it. I agree with Joel. I think they should get paid more than $80,000 a year, right? I think that the risk is even higher than it used to be because you have to deal with the students, you have to deal with the parents, you have to deal with administration. And then you also have the potential for school shootings and all that stuff, which is happening with increasing frequency. Like, what do we expect? I wouldn't want to take that job. And I care about education. Like, I didn't want my mom in those classrooms, those last couple of years. But she's passionate about it. She was passionate about it, like to the point that she's not teaching anymore. And every time I talk to her on the phone, she still talks about her students. Like, they care at that level. Like, let's back them up. Let's do it.
Right. Yeah. No, all good, valid points. John, what do you think the median salary should be for a teacher with everything going on in the world right now? Like, what would you be comfortable with knowing that your kid's teacher makes in order to keep them like healthy, mentally happy, like being in the classroom with your own children?
That depends. Are they good teachers?
I don't know. Are they willing to do it? Because
So
right now they're not.
Yeah. So here's where I'm at. I think that a good teacher is one of the most important professions in the world. But I think that a bad teacher can be one of the most dangerous professions in the world. And so what do you do with that? Do you let the government control that? I don't know what to do, because I don't trust most Catholic schools, and I don't trust most the government to run schools. So how do we fix that? I don't think kids should be in school for 40 hours a week, right? Like that started because of a war and because of a need for someone to watch kids while women went to go work and the husband wants to go fight. So like when we just kind of stuck with the same system, forever. And so I think that the whole school like format just needs a rework. And I don't know what the answer is, but I do think that good teachers are one of the most important professions in the world. And we have to find a way to have as many of them as possible everywhere, getting paid what they're worth and what they deserve, which is a lot, like six figures for sure, because it is the future of our society. But I just, like Joel said, like, I don't know how we get there, because there's just so much happening in all different kinds of schools all over the place that are discouraging. Now, I think there's probably more good than bad, but the bad is enough to scare me. And I just think that we kind of need to look differently. Like right now, right, it's still the expectation that you're going to go to school, you're going to go to high school, you're going to get as many extracurriculars as possible, and then after that, you're going to go to college. Like if there's a great college like the University of St. Thomas, great. You can also do a trade school. Right. And a lot of times that's looked down on in high schools. Like, oh, you didn't take AP classes. Well, how are you going to get into a good university? There's a lot of different things that I think that need to change from an education perspective. And I just don't know where to start. So right now I'm just a little doom and gloom. But I think that, some of the good teachers I've had who probably don't even remember me because I wasn't a great student had such a great impact on my life. And we need way more good teachers. My brother's a teacher, and I think he's an unbelievable one. I would let my kids go to his class. But I wish there were more like him. Yeah.
Jeff in chat says that's why it's a good idea to raise the salary, so you create competition for those jobs instead of kind of having it be potentially the lowest hanging fruit. And then Rocky said lessen the hours of full-time work week, and then we can lessen school hours and spend more time at home as a family as well, which is also a great idea.
Different. I agree, but it's now we're talking, 8 levels.
Yeah, exactly. We could do a whole episode on this. Well, Katie, you have a background in teaching. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so I was a teacher for 5 years, and I'll never go back to the classroom. And it's not for lack of desire to educate the next generation. It's more what Joel said. That was a great point. The risk that you take on. There was this comic that my mom gave me the first week that I was a teacher, and she'd cut it out from the newspaper, and it was like 1960. It was the teacher and the parents behind a desk, like fussing at a kid. And it was 2012, and it was mom, dad, and the student on one side of the desk fussing at the teacher. And I experienced that day in a Catholic school. You'd frequently hear from parents, well, I pay your salary. So I wouldn't walk back into that environment for any amount of money. But my husband is currently a teacher in a charter school, and we go round and round every week at the end of the week, because it's not just 8 to 3 and it's not summers off. It is a constant, especially in his inner city charter school, a constant concern and worry about these kids' well-being, almost kind of playing second or first dad to a lot of these kids. And so I honestly think the way you fix any of this is not just incentivizing salaries or encouraging people to give back in some way and prey upon their better angels and make them virtuous individuals in society. It's talking to moms and dads about, if you want your children to be good members of society, they have to be good citizens within a school. And they become good citizens within a school because they're good citizens within their home. And that the teacher's not the one that can impart that upon them. And that's what it's become. The educator isn't just giving them AP biology lessons and helping them with their applications to college and showing up to their football games on Friday night so that they know they have some support. They're also the shoulder that they cry on. They're also the defender when the school shooter comes in. They're also the person who tries to give them life advice. I'll compliment my husband and then I'll shut up. Tommy's been at this school. This is his 6th year. And last year he realized that was their first graduating class was his 3rd year at this charter school. And so they were finally starting to build up like some alumni recognition. They were starting to build up this rapport within the school. So we started doing this thing where if any of his students as a senior gets a substantial scholarship or signs at a university for anything. It can be an academic scholarship, an athletic scholarship. And they have quite a few students that have signed athletic scholarships. He has one kid that's at the University of Miami. He buys a polo for that college. And so like his closet is just entirely college polos supporting his kids.
Right.
And like he's paying for this polo. I make fun of him because it's like, how many polos are you going to buy? Like you only have so many days. And he wants his whole closet to just be college polos for these kids. And he does a TikTok video every day supporting these students and like the student of the day and based off of the polo that he's wearing. And his kids love it. And that's something he's willing to do and go above and beyond. And that's a good teacher. And that's the man I married, but not every teacher is willing to do that. And I don't think any amount of money can change a person into that kind of an educator. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And one of the interesting things that when education comes up is just the range at which it's required for people, to participate at, right? So you have inner city charter schools where kids need, washer dryer facilities because they cannot have access to it at home. And then you have, stuff in Orange County that's like, listen, we're really sorry, but our sushi bar is closed today. And I know that's, maybe you should go to the nurse and talk about it because it's going to be difficult. It's totally different elements. And we're cramming all of that into education, which is an incredibly difficult thing to do. Anyway, we're going to move along.
Societal issues have to be so difficult and complex.
I know. It's almost as though talking about it helps to expand the knowledge base to a larger group of people. And then perhaps as a society, we can come together and help solve some of those problems. I don't know. I'll try to come up with an idea of how we can do that. Maybe on the internet
Marco
somehow.
thinks a monarchy would fix it all.
Marco's not in this particular episode, but I'm going to give him a point. All right, moving right along, we are up to Asteroid Smashing. The first time I read this, Joel, I read it as Asteroid Shaming, and I don't know why. I found it to be particularly entertaining.
That's how we protect the planet.
Yes, if we just tweeted mean things at asteroids, maybe they would leave us alone. But no, seriously, NASA was just able to smash a rocket into an asteroid, not just to see what would happen, but in the hopes that they could measurably change its trajectory in case there was a situation in which we needed to protect the planet from some type of oncoming asteroid, and just to see if it was something that was even possible. So this is kind of a unique element because I told John, I was like, listen, if the asteroid is coming and maybe we should just assume that that's a true message from God. Like, what are the chances of that happening again after the dinosaurs? Maybe we should we're ready. But we are starting with Darnell on this one. Darnell, is this a good use of time and money and effort for humanity?
Man, I don't know about that, but what I do know is that this sounds an awful lot like a 1998 blockbuster starring Bruce Willis,
Armageddon,
and Ben Affleck. Yeah,
what a flick!
And so I think that what Michael Bay did was a good use of money. That is a fun and fantastic movie. But NASA, I'm unsure, right? It's cool in theory. I don't know what information they're gonna get off of this, right? I don't know what their findings are. And then, granted, I learned about this thing happening like 20 minutes ago, so I haven't done my due diligence in the research yet. It's cool. I'm not gonna lie and say like if I had the chance to do this, I wouldn't do it. Like I'd also try. I'm curious, so. It could be a waste of money. It could not be. If I had the money to do it, I would do it and see what happens. But to be determined, to be TBD.
Yeah, that's fair.
If I had millions of dollars, I don't know that I'd smash an asteroid. I'd buy a house.
That might not be.
Buy a house.
I'd buy a house right underneath the asteroid.
Yeah. Depending where you're at, you might not be able to get a house.
Yeah. Oh, I got to tell you, though, Darnell, when you brought up Armageddon, that immortal film, I could not smash the point button fast enough to add to your score. I'm just saying. It's a great pull. Jonathan, would you be on a mission to destroy an asteroid, much like the immortal film Armageddon?
Can you hear that?
No.
Dang it!
What are you trying to do?
Hold on. I know I won't take any more time than what I have allotted. Don't even worry.
There is no allotment.
Don't even.
You can take as much time as you want.
I haven't been starting the timer, but I'm about to.
Hear this? Ready?
No.
Negative.
What? All right. Well, Twitch is broken. Everything's broken. I was playing the X-Files theme song, and it was funny.
It was funny song.
It was funny. Thank you. Well, here's what, you know what? No, you will never catch me in space. Someone could say, John, if you stream on Twitch and be the first Twitch streamer in space, they'll give you $1 billion. No shot. Because I've seen enough news footage.
My resignation for the company.
That's fine. You can go ahead and go to space and take $1 billion. I'm not doing it because I've seen enough rockets fall. I'm not doing it. By the way, I think the stream could hear that. You guys just couldn't. That's even funnier. But no, I would never go to space, and I would never go to space to destroy a rocket or to destroy an asteroid. As fun as that sounds, what aren't they telling us? Is my question. What are they hiding? You know, I mean, Area 51. Listen, they're hiding stuff. There's a reason why Biden's talking about nutrition labels. Okay, because he's trying to avoid what he knows is coming. It's absolutely terrifying. You ain't catching me anywhere near it. And if the Lord says it's time, it's time.
He's trying to get us in shape so we can fight the alien invasion.
Yeah. It's a twofer.
Okay. I respect that, Biden. I'll do it.
Yeah, catch me nowhere near any asteroid smashing, and I hate it.
I'm sure there is a potential conspiracy upcoming with, that maybe they're not attacking asteroids. Perhaps they're attacking something else. What do you think, Katie? You think that's where it's headed?
So I think they did this yesterday at some point in the day because I was live on the radio, and at 2:50, my producer frantically started texting me, and she was like, something's wrong with your microphone. There was nothing wrong with my microphone. There was a solar flare that had affected the Sirius XM satellites, and like the whole state, every station went down for like 2 minutes and then came back up. So I was directly affected by the asteroid smashing, and I'm happy to say not a fan. I'm with Jonathan 1,000%. If the zombies show up tomorrow, I'm just walking outside and getting bit. I'm not fighting. I can't run. I have no desire to participate in that apocalyptic existence. If the asteroid's coming at us, I greet our alien brethren who are on it and welcome them. I'll cook them a meatloaf. We're happy to have you. Here is my home for your. So conspiracy theory wise, I'm smart enough to know I'm not smart enough to understand all of it, and I trust the smarter people. I met an astronaut once and was very impressed by a lot of things. But yeah, of course they're not telling us. They're not telling us like how they're paying for the loan forgiveness. Like, of course they're not telling us why they smashed the asteroid.
What a fantastic correlation. They can't tell us how they're paying for the loans. So why can they tell us how they're smashing an asteroid?
We have yet to see paperwork on it, and now they're getting sued about it. So if they can't be transparent about that, know they're not being transparent about Space Force smashing things.
No, that makes sense. Okay, Joel, get us back on the right track here and take us
doing this.
Take us away from the conspiracy element.
My question is it enough? I think we need to blow up more stuff in space. It's not
all of it. Space should be gone.
There's lots of stuff out there that we need to see if we can blow it up. Small moons, can we blow them up? Maybe dwarf planets. Do you know there's a dwarf planet in our solar system called Make? We don't need that. No. Could we blow that up?
We don't need that.
We don't need Make.
We are going to be faced with an alien threat, and we are going to need to destroy their planet. And like, I get that sounds cruel. It's just the way it probably is going to need to be. And we ready for that threat? I am not so sure. But I think the solution here is to channel more funding into NASA so they may obliterate other pieces of our solar system. And only then can we say we are ready to face whatever threats the future hold. Because unlike all y'all, I'm not going down without a fight. I'll punch an alien a la Will Smith in Independence Day. And I will be grateful that I had the opportunity to do that.
Sorry, I had to get in it.
There's
as
another
soon as I was saying Will
reference.
Smith, I'm like, finish it with Independence Day. And I did.
So many points.
But it's not enough. Blow up more. And I think that
fantastic.
I think we'll be safer for it.
I think you can tell a lot about a person by whether or not they think of Reba McEntire. Maybe it's a different person. Maybe it's no, what was her name?
Reference fell.
No, I just ruined all of it. She's my favorite singer ever, too. I'm so upset. She's my favorite female vocal of all time, and I'm forgetting her name at the moment. But anyway, she had a song called Independence Day, and it was amazing. And I think of that when I hear Independence Day, not the Will Smith movie.
Oh, something's wrong with you. It should be the Will Smith movie.
Okay, well,
Martina
you guys,
McBride.
Thank you, Martina McBride. Thank you.
Martina McBride.
you guys really
The
did
greatest
well
team
with
of
this
vocalists of all
one.
time.
We started with all the space movies we could reference with Darnell, and then slowly slipped into the conspiracy theorists at the top of the screen, and then Emperor Palpatine down here wants to have his own Death Star and just start blowing stuff up. So
I think the idea has merit.
I'm sure there's a trash hatch that they're preparing to enter into.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine, I'm sure. Okay, let's move on to a church divided. The U.S. Catholic bishops offered a report to the Vatican noting that Catholics are divided on a number of issues, including LGBTQ inclusion, liturgy, and clerical sex abuse. Catholics also desired more church activities, especially for families, and better formation for seminarians. And there is a desire for healing and belonging and rebuilding community from Catholics, and that this was also noted in the report. So we are back to the beginning with Jonathan. With such a big group of people as Catholics divided, where do we go from here?
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be Catholic.
You know, what a time to be alive. Anytime, I'll just say this. There are many things that the church has to deal with, right? The church is universal. We're talking about humans all over the world who are all experiencing different life issues and different issues. And the church is supposed to take care of those people, care for their souls, and help them get to heaven. So we're talking about that's a almost impossible feat. And the reason it's not is because of Jesus and because the Spirit has been guiding the church the whole time. So of course it's always going to be divided. You're always going to have scandal. You're always going to have, handling that wrong. You're always going to have controversial church teaching, and you're always going to have jerks in the church who aren't welcoming to, specific groups of people in a loving way. But I struggle with how to handle anything from a universal perspective. Like the church the Vatican trying to do something, the USCCB trying to do something here in America, when a parish has a hard time doing a survey or getting enough volunteers at their parish fish fry, how are we supposed to undertake this monumental effort? Of course, we're going to have tons of opinions and lots of different things going on. Here's what I think would make everything easier in the year of our Lord 2022. If we would just teach what the church teaches in love and with charity, and we would make sure that our priests knew how to do that, our educators in Catholic schools and Catholic universities knew how to do that, and the priests at Mass would just simply say the black and do the red, we would have a lot less issues right now. And let's start there. Let's just start by saying, here's what the church teaches. Here's how you explain it. I really do believe that every single church teaching can be explained with and comes from love. I really do believe that. So let's just do that and have Mass be a beautiful thing and just see what happens. Let's just try that. All right. And then 10 years we'll revisit. And if we need to do a big old survey and revisit some things, we can.
So you're suggesting this is a lot easier actually than the education problem. Let's just stick to the church teaching. And
yeah, because it's a monarchy.
Right, exactly. Thank you. Thanks to the Pope.
That's true.
So speaking of the Pope, Katie, how much of this is the Vatican's problem versus a local parish problem?
I mean, the church is universal, but it's also very particular. And so what's happening in Lake Charles, Louisiana, when all these synod surveys were going out, we were rebuilding from 2 major hurricanes. Nobody gave a crap about our particular opinions concerning liturgy. We were just excited when we got a roof on our parish, which, by the way, happened last week, and the storms were in August of 2020. So I think the Vatican has this very obviously global and universal perspective, but when you start to funnel it down and you meet the particular people who believe or who feel excluded or who feel like it's 20% of the people in the parish do 80% of the work, it's hard to reconcile. The Pope cares about my particular issue, even if he's saying that he does on an airplane and it's taken out of context or it's not as clear as it needs to be. So I think I'm going to say the most Catholic thing in the world. It's both and. It's both the Vatican's responsibility to guide the conversations that are happening, but it's also within the particular parish, within the particular diocese, with that priest that knows his people, with that bishop who understands the circumstances, to say, okay, is this something that's actually affecting us? Liturgy wars are not happening in Lake Charles. So I don't really, Traditionis Custodes didn't really affect us. Our bishop is like, look, people want the Latin Mass. We're going to continue allowing it. You go to Chicago and it's a much bigger battle. And I think there's something valuable about it needs to happen in the particulars where those decisions are going. To speak directly to this matter of inclusion and desire for people on the margins to feel like they belong, the church has never said they don't belong. It's people who think that they're the authority figure who say you don't belong here. And so I feel like we all just kind of have to get over ourselves at points and be like, look, I don't understand maybe where you're coming from and you don't understand where I'm coming from. But the one thing we might have in common if we talk about it together is that Jesus loves us both. And so let's figure that out. Like Jonathan said, let's just present what the church teaches clearly and with charity. And then, maybe these synods on whatever, some of which I've been a part of and can be very valuable in ways, will be less survey oriented and more particular on what's actually affecting people's lives.
Yeah, that's valid. And I appreciate you overestimating the amount and percentage in most parishes that are actually doing the work. 20% seems like quite a high number for a lot of.
Probably been 5. Yeah, let's be real.
So Joel, if you were to advise the U.S. bishops on this element, what would you say?
Are we divided enough? I'm just kidding.
Blow it up.
We're not blowing up enough stuff.
Maybe. We go so divided that we actually come together.
Yeah, full circle. Bring it full circle.
Full loop around. Yeah.
I think that authentic witness has to start from the top. And the challenge that we run into within the church, there's this Latin phrase, lex credendi, lex orandi, which is the law of creed and the law of belief. And the idea is that if people were to see you and not know anything about what you believe, but they would see how you worship in particular, like the law of prayer, law of creed, that they would be able to identify what was important to you if they didn't know anything about your faith. So if you're a Catholic and people just saw you pray or saw mass or saw liturgy, they should be able to identify what is important to you. If aliens came down on the asteroids and they need to learn about U.S. Catholic, about Catholic religion, they should be able to figure that out. I think the problem is we don't know because there's not people witnessing to that. And so part of the issue we have is we've remade parts of Catholicism in our own image and likeness, and everybody's done it regardless of what side you are on. And I think that is why we're becoming divided, because we don't recognize ourselves where we should recognize the family of the church and say, hey, like there's differences in my experience in my particular church and your particular church, and you're rebuilding and we're wrestling with these questions. But when we come together and we see one another, I recognize the faith. Instead, it's like, I see it, but I also see so much of you. And I think my first step to the bishops would be to say, like, how do we bring a beauty in uniformity? Because sometimes we fear uniformity, like, oh, that's going to erase diversity, but it doesn't. It provides a unity for which diversity can truly exist and be expressed in a beautiful way. And I think that's probably would be my advice is how do we bring that beauty of the family and how we're all what we share so that we can recognize one another. And I think that's going to bring unity. Yeah.
Good thoughts there. Darnell, as we close out this particular topic, do you have any examples of people divided within the church life that you feel like would be an easy fix in terms of bringing them together?
Because
I can't think of any either. Because I can't think of any either.
I think it's everybody, right? And I think I say that because historically there's been division in the church, right? All of the apostles did not agree 1,000% on how Jesus, what Jesus meant when he said things. There was disagreement within that. Within the early church, there was disagreement between the Jews and the Gentiles, right? What we should believe and how we should live this out. I think that's just part of the nature of what's going to happen in the church, right? There should be this tension in it where we're trying to figure out how do we bring people in, but also how do we hold them accountable to certain things or to certain standards or to belief systems and structures we have in place. And that tension of the what's what and how do we navigate this is important for us because that is how we grow and that is how we learn and that is how we make each other stronger. So I mean, I think like, yeah, there's going to be division. There's always going to be division in the church because people are going to, you have your people who are super legalistic and be like, well, they said this, or that's what it is. And you have other people who are just like, well, we need to be compassionate because we don't know all the circumstances. And we need to find somewhere in the middle, right? Like this person might be right 50% of the time, the other person might be right 50%. But it needs to be a somewhere in the middle. So I don't know. I just think that it's being blown out of proportion. Like people are like, oh, it's going to be a civil war in the church. Things are going to fall apart. Like, I think the church has always been like this. It's always been like this. I also don't feel this particularly bad at this moment, right? Because I think back to like the 1960s and you have Black people, he can't even go into certain churches. So like, we're a step beyond that. So all those people who are freaking out, like just calm down, like trust.
Consistent improvement. Yeah, that's where we're at. Well, these are all good points, you guys. It's always interesting to attack this stuff from a bunch of different angles, for sure. Final topic for the evening: comic relief. So, Ryan Reynolds announced that his new Deadpool movie is coming out in 2024, maybe. And teased the inclusion of Wolverine, further expanding the Marvel Cinematic Universe. At this point, to fully engage in the MCU, there are hundreds of hours of material that need to be watched. And there's really no sign of stopping. So we're going to start with Katie on this one. How much is too much? And are we going to get sick of these movies before they stop producing them?
Hugh Jackman is a national treasure and must be protected at all costs. Whether he is playing Wolverine or whether he is the Music Man, I will watch anything he is in at any time of day. I will listen to him anytime. So I'm happy that he's in this. I will say this. Of all of the MCU stuff, Deadpool is my least favorite. And I think it's probably because I'm a woman and it's just not and I'm happy to say it's just not my style of humor. I find it to be a little crude. I find it to be a little crass, but I love Ryan Reynolds. I will watch The Proposal anytime it's on cable from start to finish as well. So like, I feel like I can set aside my hatred of Deadpool to watch these two guys that I objectively enjoy following and watching and listening to. Is it too much? I mean, yeah, they're like, you can't, I don't have enough time of my life to watch everything in the MCU from start to finish unless I was flying more and had time on a plane. But I can also rewatch every episode of The Office from start to finish and I don't even think twice about it. So maybe it's just a choice that I'm making to not invest fully, but I don't think you have to invest fully to enjoy it. Like with Star Wars, I don't even know what Andor is, much less want to watch the show on Disney Plus. But with like the MCU, oh, another superhero movie and some guys are going to like, there's going to be loud noises and there's some fun moments that I might like cry at as well. Like, yeah, I'll watch that. Like, I think people that want to watch it are going to watch it. And again, protect Hugh Jackman at all costs. If he wants to do this with his time, then pay him whatever he wants.
That's
and
fine.
I will be there.
I'm pretty sure at this point he's getting paid whatever he wants.
Exactly.
So, I mean, good
he's
for
a god
him.
among men.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, Joel, there's a chance that the reason for the success of Deadpool is that it might be the only franchise where you don't have to watch all of the other Marvel movies to know what's going on, because he sits so far outside of the rest of the extended universe that it's all just throwaway and comedy anyway. Like, do you think that there's a chance that the Deadpool would be the stopping point or the new regular, the new norm for what Marvel is, or is the fan base just too far gone at this point?
At some point, I think it has to be, because I was going to watch Multiverse of Madness, and I've been kind of making my way through the MCU. I had a large block of travel over the summer. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start from chronologically, not in order of release date, but chronologically. So starting with Captain America, I'm going to watch them. I'm going to watch them all in chronological order. But I want to see Multiverse of Madness, the Doctor Strange movie. And so I was talking to some people. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to skip ahead and watch that one. And like, whoa. Have you watched WandaVision?
Right.
Did you watch this thing? Did you watch this thing? And there were like a bunch of different, did you watch Loki? All these different things. And I'm like, you got to watch these things. Otherwise the movie's not going to make sense. I'm like, well, what's the point of watching a movie if I've got to go watch everything else? Even like classic sequels. You don't need to watch Mighty Ducks 1 to watch D2 and appreciate it. Does it help? Sure, a little bit.
Joel, you'll never know what the knuckle puck is.
Okay, fair enough. Are there moments, and like those types of Easter eggs for diehard fans, those are fine. But when you're getting to a point where it's like, this story will not make sense if you have not done X, Y, and Z. That's just getting to be a little bit excessive in a universe that is so expansive. And keep in mind, folks, Marvel comics have been around a long time. And so for the comic book world, this makes sense. In order to make these stories go and go and go, you've got multiverses and different characters and different iterations. And that's a whole different world to itself. Big popular movies that people want to enjoy and like be entertained by. At some point, we got to say enough is enough. Also, come up with some original material. Why are we digging back into all of this old stuff? Let's find something new, something fresh, something exciting. But nobody wants to tell new stories anymore. They want to make money. And
true.
At the end of the day, and the thing is, Deadpool as a character, he would be absolutely fine with it. And so I guess at the end of the day, if Deadpool's fine with it.
Right. Yeah, that really should be everyone's litmus test, I think, in the world in general. Let's ask Deadpool what he would do with the church.
No.
So Darnell, to Joel's point, Multiverse of Madness was the first one, and this is after having watched a lot of the Marvel stuff with my kids, where my kids knew what was going on, and I did not, because I did not like make the effort to watch WandaVision and Loki. I watched some of it here and there, but like that is not something that a person who has a full-time job has time for. That's unbelievable. So like, do you think that they are actually building a cult around themselves of like just a rabid fan base so that they can have access to everyone's wallets?
I think so right now, but I think that's going to come to a breaking point at some point, because like at this point, it's like, how many years of video like that we'd have to sit down and go back and watch through if we had to watch everything from the beginning. I think they're eventually going to start doing what they did in the comic books, right? You have like arcs or story arcs that you follow, because if you like, say, if you want to say, like, I want to watch Spider-Man, or like, I want to read Spider-Man in the comic world, you're just like, well, what version do you want to read? Do you want to read Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, Miles Morales Spider-Man, Scarlet Spider, like, you know, like there's all these worlds that already exist. And then if you're like, all right, I'm going to do Amazing Spider-Man, that's still like 60 years of material. So like, what Spider-Man arc are you going to do? So I think it's going to have to happen. I'm surprised that there's not more like breakdowns in terms of like what are complete narrative structures within the Marvel Cinematic Universe as it is. Like there's clear ones, right? Like you have your Thor arc and you have your Iron Man arc, but like across movies where, you know, I'm surprised there's not more of those. So I just think at a certain point, it's going to have to be like, it has to be self-contained enough, because nobody's going to, especially young kids, they're not going to go back and watch like 15 years of material to understand a single video. That's dumb.
Or is it committed?
Dumb.
I love the way you said dumb. That was perfect. That's dumb.
That's dumb. That's dumb. No, that's true. It could be viewed as dumb. That's for sure. Well, Jonathan, you're going to take us home on this one. Like, do you enjoy these movies? Do you want to see more? Is there a desire for the everyman to just keep this going, or are we doing it out of habit at this point?
As much as I love movies, and I took a film class in college once, so you know, I totally have a willing suspension of disbelief. I learned that in class. Mm-hmm. I love movies. I think I'm just more into shows now, and so I'm kind of, I don't know. You can, if they're longer, you can, you know, you get more out of them. I'm not one to ever. I've never been one to reread a book or rewatch a movie. Definitely would never rewatch a show, but totally respect people who rewatch comedies because those are timeless. But so I'm over it. I'm over the whole Marvel thing. I loved the ride. I feel like I was the perfect age for it. And I got to see the end game, and that was great. And that was fun. And now I'm kind of over it. I will say this about Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds is a national treasure, even though he plays the same character in every movie. If you can find a way to just be yourself and get paid, that's amazing. So good for him. Deadpool's garbage. The movies are horrible. Every second of the movie, I've seen the first two. Every second of all of those movies was bad. I don't get it. I'm totally with Katie on the humor part. Like, and I don't mind crude and crass humor. I just don't like it when it's like it's only funny because of that. Like, I don't get it. And Wolverine died. So how's he going to be in the movie? Spoiler alert. Hugh Jackman is also a national treasure. So here's the thing. The only way I watch this new Deadpool is if it turns into a musical and Hugh Jackman sings. Otherwise, I'm over it. I'm done. And it's time to move on.
That's a very real possibility in the Deadpool world.
I was going to say, yeah. I'd 1,000% watch it.
And Ryan Reynolds can sing too.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And
throw in Blake Lively and you have hit every single moment for me.
Yeah, and for all of the talk that we are, giving to Marvel right now, I will say that it is interesting how they have created a universe in which there's sort of something for everyone. So the fact that people are able to be like, I hate Deadpool, he's too crass, and you have other people that are like, we're just gonna watch Thor beat up everybody all the time and always win, huh? Like we're not gonna have any of the stuff that could go wrong.
Are you one of those people, McClure?
Yeah, a lot of times. But I also like I do.
And what about those
it.
of us who think it's just stupid, huh? Those people are out there.
They are out there, and a lot of times we're both right, which is
only nerds like Deadpool. They're breaking the fourth wall. Okay, dude. No one knows what that means.
You took a film class and haven't seen the original Top Gun or Die Hard, so I don't know if we can
Good point.
totally trust your judgment across the board. We are going to finish it up right there. Katie McGrady is our winner for tonight. You did indeed.
There's my Hugh Jackman take.
It was for sure. And the rules of the show are that you now get 30 seconds to promote or discuss or shout out any particular thing that you would like in the world in any capacity. You can just use it to continue to compliment your husband. He sounds like an incredible teacher. You can talk about your shows and what's coming up. Entirely up to you. You let me know when you're ready.
I see in the chat my friend Jeff the Less is saying UD Pride, so go Groundhogs.
Right.
I have a new podcast season out right now with Ave Explores called Ave Explores Healing, where we are talking to experts in mental health fields as well as people who have stories of healing themselves. I do a lot of talking into microphones and I get paid to do it. I've never been as proud of something that I've created than this season, because the stories that I was able to get people to share about their journeys of healing are just incredibly beautiful. So you can subscribe to Ave Explorers wherever you get your podcasts. Ave Explorers, 2 words. They're about 40 minutes each, so you can listen to it on a commute. Get some Kleenex ready because some people really share some deep stuff. We had an episode drop today with Father Sean Kilcawley, one of the smartest guys I've ever met, talking about father wounds and healing of the masculine heart. So I think perfect for a lot of folks who might be watching. So yeah, Ave Explorers. And I'm on SiriusXM every day from 1 to 3.
Is there a website that people should check out in order to track down your stuff?
It is in the chat.
Sweet. It's in the chat.
Perfect.
AveMariaPress.com.
Awesome. Thank you for doing that, Jonathan. Okay, you guys, as per usual, this was a fantastic episode. I would say at least in my top 3 minimum, if for no other reason than Joel talked about blowing up space, which is incredible. Yeah, it was amazing. So thank you for joining us.
I also have some theories about how to maybe diminish the population by 50%, but that's a different.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. Does it involve collecting a number of stones? So we're going to call it there. We love you. God loves you more. Let's change the world. I am going to end the stream now, and Jonathan is going to pick it up again for those of you that are sticking around to play some Among Us tonight. Is that correct?
We'll see.
Jonathan?
I'll be doing that, but it'll be on our streamer, Mr. Tickens. We'll see.
Okay, gotcha. All right, you guys, thank you so very much for joining us, and we will see you next week with Pardon the Intercession with John, Joel, and myself. See you.